Yeah, good evening, everyone. Okay, now let us see that Pooja has asked some doubt, na? So while else we'll see. So by that time, okay. So in the while else case, actually we will write the while loop. Okay, when the block of statements are executed, when this condition is true. When the while condition is true, then the block of statements which are written in the while loop will be executed, right? So here now initially we are taking it as 16. So it will start from 16. So for 16, this condition is satisfied. Then 16 will be printed. Again, the value will be incremented. Value will become 17. So for 17 also, this condition is satisfied. So it is keep on repeating till the k value becomes 20. When it becomes 20, this condition is failed. Okay, so that means this block of statements are not going to execute. So simply it will come out to the next part of the program, that is it will come to the else block. That means if you don't write also, no issue. Now here we have finished the while loop now, that I want to acknowledge, because now while loop has printed 16 to 19, and when it becomes 20, the loop condition is not satisfied, then it has come out from the loop. So same I want to acknowledge. So for that I'm writing the else. So when this while condition is failed to execute, when this condition is failed, then it will come to the else block. Whatever written in the else block will be printed. Pooja, whether it is clear or any doubts still? Yeah, good evening everyone. Which lesson? Who is that? Syed Abu Salam. Which lesson? What is the meaning of ash? Ash means it is a comment. If you want to comment this line, you have to keep it as ash. If you put ash, this won't be executed by the interpreter. Hello Manish sir, how are you? Okay, so let us start now today's class. Okay, sir, can you teach reverse of number of digit programs? You want a reverse of number? Yesterday we have seen we have printed from 1 to 9 as well as 9 to 1 also. So 0 to 9, 9 to 0 also. In yesterday, here this is there, he is here. So this loop is printing 0 to 10 and this loop is printing 10 to 0. It is there. Yesterday we have discussed that. One, two, three reverse, 3 to 1. Yes, we can do that. So I'll give the program for that. Okay. So that is shifting operation only. You can shift it and you can print, or you can use the logic also. Okay. So I'll give that program, Mr. HBK. So right, let us start today's class. Now yesterday we have finished the while loop. Now today we are moving it to just a minute. I'll open the PPT. So just close the shell, it will open. When you are executing, every time when you are executing, Python shell will automatically open. Okay. Now here Python loop, yesterday we have discussed about the while loop, right? Now let us discuss today for loop. Okay. So these are the loop, right? So now let us go back to the program. Right. So I'll comment out the remaining part, right? So now here I'm taking one list. Okay. So of course this list, this collection objects will come. We will discuss the next classes, right? After functions, we will discuss this collection objects, right? So we will discuss clearly about what is list. Total 5 are there: string, set, tuple, list, dictionary. So all these things we will discuss. Now here at this point of time is not list is nothing but this is, we are creating one variable list1. So in that we are storing multiple values I'm storing here. Okay, right. Just to use the for loop. Okay, now here how we have to write the for loop? We have to write for, okay, give the variable name, any name. That means, so this variable will search each and every element in the given list. Okay, so in the given list, here we have taken the list1. So the list1 is declared with some number of variables, right? So I'll do one thing, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so 0 to 13 I have declared, right? 14. Okay, so here how to write for loop means you have to write for, keyword for, then space. You take any variable, right? Any variable. This variable is used to iterate the for loop. How many iterations it will do? That depends upon the length of the list. Okay, so here we have taken one list called list1. In that list1 I have stored 0 to 14. That means total 15 elements I have stored, right? So this I, here I, we are taking one a variable. That means like it is a count variable, but not like while loop. In while loop, if you are taking the count variable, you have to initialize the count, then you have to use that count variable in the condition, then increment, decrement you have to do. But in the for loop, you no need to do all those things. Just name the variable. It automatically iterate. That means automatically its value is incremented to point the next element. Okay, so here we have taken the list1. In this list1 I'm having total 15 values, 0 to 14. So then the moment when you write for writing the for loop, you have to use the for keyword, then any variable name. Here not compulsory I, you can use any name, right? In is a membership variable, right? We have discussed in is a membership operator. So it will search. It will search in which list? List 1. Here now I want to search. I want to display each and every element of this particular list. Okay. So for that, what I'm doing for I. So that means I'm telling I to search each and every element in the list 1. Right. So initially it will point 0 in list 1. Then the 0 will be printed. Right. After that, automatically I value will be incremented. You no need to do incrementing operator manually. Automatically I value will be incremented and it will point the number next element, that is 1. Right. So that 1 will be printed. Then again automatically incremented, it will print 2. So this keep on repeating till how many elements are there. When I becomes 14, it will print 14. Again when I try to increment, but there is no element finding in this particular list now, so it will stop the execution. Okay. So that means here we no need to mention the condition. If you use while loop here, what you have to do? You have to take I value as 0. Then you have to count. First you have to get the length of this particular list. Okay. Then okay, I'll write here. So if you use I there, while loop there, I have to take it as I equal to 0. Then while I less than or equal to list 1 dot length. Okay, I'll do one thing. Simply I'll write this. Of course, these functions and all we'll discuss there. So here 15 elements are there now. So it is 14. I less than or equal to 14, or since 15 elements are there, you can make it as I less than 15. Right? So then, then what you have to do? Print I, then I plus equal to 1. Okay. So this you need to do. Right? So now I'll comment this temporarily. Right? What it will do? Now I equal to 0, I less than 15. That means total 15 elements are there. So it will start from 0. Because why I'm taking 0? Because the first element will be 0. Then start print. Okay. Or print list 1 of I. Okay. So then I'll save it. I'll run it. For 1 minute, some error is coming. What is that error? I plus equal to. F file scanning triple quoted. Somewhere commenting problem. Maybe somewhere I have not commented out. So here I post. Okay. So see, you can see here 0 to 14 it is printing, right? 0 to 14 it is printing. Yesterday we have seen the while loop. So in this way we can print the values of a list by using the while loop. For that, what you have to do? You have to initialize the I value. Then you have to write the condition. Since how many elements are there? You count it here. 15 elements are there. So you have to repeat it for 15 times. So print list of I. So that means initially when I value is 0, list of 0. 0 means the first element will be printed. Then I value is incremented. I value become 1. Then it will print list of 1. That means the second element will be printed. Then third element, fourth element, fifth element, like that up to 15 elements. So after 15 elements, so I value become 15. This condition won't be satisfied. It will come out from the loop. Okay. So this is the way we have to do in while loop. But if we take for loop, this we can do very easily. So the advantage of for loop is you don't need to specify any initialization, you don't need to specify any condition and incrementing or decrementing operator. simply you can write. You use for keyword, use any variable. It is need not be used as I, right? You can use any variable. I'll use the x for x in, like, that means the meaning of this is, what is this membership operator will do? How many members are there in the specified list, that many times it will be repeated. That means it will check the list one length, that means x for every element in the list one, right? If element is there, it will move here, then print the element value, then again it will increment to the next element. Initially it will start with first element will be printed, then automatically x value is incremented, it will point the next element, then next element will be printed, then third element, fourth element, like that all the 15 elements will be printed. After printing 15 elements, now this will come out from the loop. That means this for loop, the speciality of the for loop is without giving any count, it will repeat, it will take the default count as per the size of the list. For example, if I remove this, it will be repeated only 5 times. So if I add, now it will be repeated by 15 times. If I add some more, 15, 16, 17, it will be repeated by 18 elements. So the for loop will repeat the process, entire loop, for number of elements present in the specified list. Here I have specified list 1. So how many number of elements are there? For all those elements, it will repeat the loop. Now if you execute this, save and execute, we'll get the same output, like we'll get same output like previous case. Okay, sorry, here I have not, I changed x na. So here it is giving the error as I is not identified, because here I have changed the, in my program I have changed this as x, but here I have not changed x. Okay, print x, right? Now save it, execute it. So it will be printed from 0 to 17. 0 to, it will be printed from 0 to 17. Now if I change, for example, if I change the program, now I don't want to write till 17, so I will write up to 10. Now what it will do, now this time the loop will be repeated by how many times? 11 times. That means it will print from 0 to 10. 0 to 10. Okay, so again, if I change, if I make any change here, again I'm removing. Now here 0 to 7, that means only 8. Okay, again save and execute. So the loop will be repeated by 8 times only, 0 to 7. Okay, so that is the use of for loop. Here we no need to worry about installation, what should be the condition, what should be the count, what will be the increment value, decrement value, all those things. We no need to worry if you use the for loop. That is the advantage of for loop. So that's the reason. Of course, if you want specifically use while loop, you can use it. But for that, you need to mention the initialization value, this condition, how many times you want to repeat, and decrement manually you have to do that. Okay. Hope it is clear for loop. We can use for loop in only list case. No, we will see. So this is the first thing, na? Whether sound is audible to everyone? Okay. So Deepthi Pandey is asking, we can use for loop only in list case. No, we can use in everywhere, that we will see in the program. Okay, right. So now this simple for loop. Now what I will do is, so Deepthi, this is the answer for you. Now here we have used for list 1 na. So now what I am doing here, so I'll comment this part out. So now I'm taking this, I'm using if for loop with the strings. Now I have taken only one string called str1. In that I am storing banana. Okay, banana. Now here what happens if I use for loop for this? Now for I in str1, that means each and every character in the str1, here one string is there, banana, so it will repeat this for loop will be repeated for each and every character in the specified string. Now first b will be printed, then a, then automatically I value incremented, it will point the second letter, second character, a will be printed, then n will be printed, then a will be printed, n a, right? Now you save and execute this. You can see here b a n a n a, right? So you can use it for list or string or tuple or a dictionary elements or assets, anything. Okay, of course all those collection elements we will discuss in the next classes. Okay, so here now the for loop will be repeated for every, now we are mentioning for in str1. Now how many elements are there in str1? For all those elements this for loop will be repeated, right? So now for example I'll write the string as banana apple. Okay, now it will be repeated for, this is entire, this is only single string na, so it will be repeated for single string, right? For all the characters of the string, right? Now save it, run. So banana dash apple. Okay, and similarly I'll show you one more example here. For example, if I write here like this, now str2 I'm taking. Okay, str2 I'm taking. So what I will do is, here I'll write one two, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, so now what I will do is, for x in str2, so for every element in str2, okay, will be repeated, print str2. Now can you guess what will be the output? So this will print BANA apple dash apple, then this will print okay, sorry, I have to change the program slightly, so it is printing that str2. Okay, so here I have taken not set, just give me a minute, because I'll do one thing, I'll take list only, so it will be easy. Okay, Okay, now you can see here. So banana, apple, 1 2 3 4 5. So it is printing all the elements, it is printing. Okay, so the difference here is, here we are referring each and every character in this particular string by using the for loop. In this case we are referring each and every element in the list. Okay, so why we have not got in for other thing na? So because we have total 5 collection elements, there are differences in that. So some of the things we cannot access independently, right? So some we can access with the indexing, some will support with won't support indexing. So all those things we will discuss there. All the 5 collection elements, what are the differences between them? Okay, now if you use the square bracket, that means it is a list. So in the list we can refer any item with the index. Okay, right. Of course the detail things about this lists, strings, tuple, set and dictionary elements we will discuss in the coming sessions. Okay, so now here, so this is a string, so we can print the string elements, that means each and every character in the string, and we can print each and every element in the list also. Okay, and after this, okay, I don't want to print the elements in the list or elements in the this thing. Okay, now let us move to one function. So range function in Python, we have one function. What is the difference between these brackets? Yes, that brackets will come to. Sunita Singh is asking that what is the difference between these brackets. Okay, so these brackets and all we will do that. We will see in the collection elements, because that square bracket, if you use the square bracket now, that will be treated as list, right? If you use the flower bracket, that will be treated as set. Like that, it is difference is there. We will see that in the collection objects. Okay, okay, एक ही line में कैसा लाए for Vijay Agarwal, I not understood your question. Okay, allow me to record this lecture. Okay, fine. Right. So now अभी इधर एक रेंज फंक्शन के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे. नाउ अभी इधर मैं लिस्ट में डिक्लेयर किया 0 to 7 और 0 to 10 लिखा, डिस्प्ले हो रहा है, डिस्प्ले कर रहा है मैं इधर लिस्ट के बारे में. बट इधर I don't want to declare any list, but still I want to display a value from 0 to some value, that means 0 to 9 or 0 to 10. Okay, so here we have the range function. So before going to discuss about these things for loop, I will discuss only range function here. Range function. Okay, so how the range function will behave. So now if I give range 10, okay, so it will give the value from range 0 to 10. I'm doing here print a range 10. Okay, so it will give the values from 0 to 10. Here 0 is the starting value and 10 will be the ending value, and always it will print a value which is less than. That means it will print, if I give range 10, it will print the value from 0 to n minus 1, where n is 10. N minus 1 means it will print 9. Okay, so now let us come back here what I am doing in my program. So I have taken the range variable, I'm giving the range is up to 10. That means what does it means? It will print from 0 to 9, right? Note here in the range function, upper value is not included. That means upper value means whatever the number you are mentioning, that won't be printed. So now here, now I'm going to print this each and every element of this range function by using the for loop. Because if I try to give print range, it is giving range 0 to 10. It is not printing the values 0 to 10, because the print function doesn't know which value it has to print. Range 10 means the values are from 0 to 10. Okay, so that's the reason it is printing 0, 0, 10. Minimum value is 0 and maximum value is 10. Now if I want to print each and every element of this range function, so we have to use the for loop. We have to use for loop here. Now I'm using for I in range function. So this range function will contain 0 to 9. Why 9? Because upper value is not included in the list. Okay, so then print I. First it will print the first element. First element is 0. First element is 0. Or we can read this as in another way, that is it will print 10 elements. Always the computer will start counting from 0. That's the reason it won't include the upper value. So 0, since it is starting from 0, so it will print up to 9. After printing 9, 0 to 9, 10 elements are over. Okay, if you want to print that, you have to give the number of elements as 11. If you give the number of elements as 11, 10 also will be printed, right? So now here, first in the range first element will be 0 na. So for I is 0, then I value is printed, 0 will be printed. Then automatically incremented, it will point the next element, that is 1 will be printed. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 11 elements it will be printed. 0 to 10 it will be printed. 0 to 10 if we count, we have the 11 elements. Okay, and here another example we are seeing. Now here I am giving minimum value is 95. That means in the range function, if you mention only one number, it will be treated as number of elements needs to be printed. Here 11 elements needs to be printed. Okay, it will start from 0 and ends at 10. Now I don't want to print from 0 to 10. I want to print 95 to 99 or 95 to 100. I want to print 95 to 100. So in that case, you have to mention the minimum value, comma, maximum value. What is the minimum value where you want to start, and what is the maximum value where you want to end. Okay, and always remember, in the range function, the upper value won't be included. That means this will print only 95 to 99 because the upper value won't be included. Okay, so automatically what will be the increment between each and every element? It is 1. By default, every element will be incremented by 1. That means 95 will be printed. After that, 96 will be printed. After that, 97 will be printed. After that, 98, 99. Right? So again, one more example we are seeing in the range function. You can mention the minimum value, maximum value, and you can mention the increment value also. For every element, how much you have to increment. I don't, by default it is 1, but I don't want to increase 1. I want to increment 2. Right? So that means after 990, I want to print 992. After 992, I want to print 994. So for that, you need to specify it as 2. And remember, this upper value won't be printed. It will be from 990 to 998 only. Okay, right. Let us see this execution. Okay, save it, then run. So in the first case, it is printing 0 to 9, the first range case, where we have given only how many elements you want to print by using the range function. So since I have given 10 there, it is printing from 0 to 9, right? So then in the second case, I have given the minimum value and it is printing from, here I have given the 11 na? Sorry, 1 minute. Okay, here I have given 11, so it is printing 0 to 10. In the second case, I have given the minimum value as 95 and maximum value is 100. So it is printing from 95 to 99 because the 100 is not printed because the upper value is not included in the range function. If you want to print 100 also, you have to give maximum value 101. Okay, always you have to give n plus 1. Right? So in the third range case, I have given minimum 990, maximum 1000. Every time it has to increment 2. Okay, so here 990, 992, every time it is incrementing 2, and the 1000 is also again not printed. Why? Because the 1000 is not included in the range function. The maximum value won't be included in the range function. Right? So hope it is clear. Any doubt here? for this range function? 990. Okay. Fine. Deepthi Panda, right? Okay. No doubt, na? Default between declare and initialize. Yes, declare and initialize. So default incrementing value will be 1 if you don't mention, because range function will take single parameter or 2 parameters, or you can give 3 parameters. If you give single parameter, so that will print number of elements. So whatever the number you mention, that many number of elements will be printed starting from 0. Every time it will increment 1. Okay. Then if you mention a minimum and maximum values, it will start from minimum value and it will end at maximum minus 1. Right? Maximum minus 1. Then if you mention 3 parameters, so first parameter is minimum value where it has to start, second parameter is maximum value where it has to end, and this third parameter is every time how much it has to increment. Okay. So I hope it is clear for everyone how to use the for loop. Now this is a for loop because how many elements this range function is giving, for those many elements this for loop will repeat automatically. Right? If you use while loop here, you have to calculate, okay, how many range elements are there. You have to calculate manually, you have to put the condition, then increment or decrement those many times. Right? That's the difference. Can we do decrement in range? Okay, the decrement I have not tried. Let us see. I think we can do. Wait 1 minute. -1. Now I'll save. So now if it is -1 means let me check it. That I have not tried. Okay. 990, 89, 88, 87, it is coming, right? Okay. Any doubt here? So that negative decrementing also we can do. Series 1, -2, -3. Yes, okay. Series print -1, -2, -3. Okay, you want to print -1, -2, -3, na? Okay, you can make my minimum value as -1, maximum value as -4. It will print. Okay, fine. Now, so this is about for loop. We have seen the for loop with some list, some string. Okay, then with the range function. So you can use for loop for any scenario where you have the multiple values, right? The thing is while loop and for loop. When you will prefer while loop, if we have any multiple, that means any array which is having fixed number of elements, right? Then you can go for fixed number of elements, and that number of elements, if you know, you can go with while loop. Okay, and if you have any array which doesn't have any fixed number of elements and it will always vary from time to time, and it is difficult for you to know how many elements are there, that means the length of the array, then you can go for loop. Of course, by comparing this, even if it is fixed also, if you know the length also, that manually you have to calculate the length and write the for loop. But if you use the for loop there, na, so then automatically it will take the length and print for those many elements. If you use a while loop, you have to manually calculate the length and write the condition for the while loop. Okay, so always mostly we will use for loop only everywhere, because why to take tension about the length of the array and where we have to start, what is the condition we have to give, all those things, why we need to worry. Okay, if you use the for loop, simply it will take care. How to print from starting value to ending value? Which starting value, Rakesh? So now if you want to print some 10 to 100, you give the minimum value as 10 and equal to ending value. No, here in Python, range function will not return the maximum value. Now if you want to print any value, what you have to give? For example, if you want to print till 100, 1 to 100, 0 to 100, what you have to do? You have to give 100, 0 to 101. The minimum value is 0, maximum value is 101. Or if you want to print from 90 to 100, you give the minimum value as 90 and maximum value as 101. Give one example of while loop so that I can understand. I have attended the class late. Okay, Nazir. So while loop here we have discussed, na? Here we have discussed. This is the while loop. We have to initialize. We have to initialize. Then we have to give the condition. Then print it manually. Okay. After printing, then you have to increment it manually. Can we use for loop for print table 0 to 30? Yes, you can use 1 to 30. Okay, you can give one minimum value is 1, maximum value is 31. It will print from 1 to 30. You can give for I in range 1 to 31. Sir, I will give minimum value 1, maximum value 10. Then I want to print I to 10, 1 to 10 using for loop. I want to print. Okay, that you can make it. That you can make it. For that, what you have to do? You have to write. For example, now the Rakesh wants to print. So here for I in a range 1 to 10 you want to give 1 to 10 you want to give, but you want to print I value. This will print it from 1 to 9, right? When it becomes 9, if you want to print 10, right? What you have to do is you have to make one for loop here. Sorry, one if condition. If I equal to 9, right? I'll write here print I plus 1. Okay. Now I'll comment out this particular thing. Programmatically, you can do whatever you want. Okay. So now I'll save this. I'll run this. Sorry. Here. And this I have to give indenting for this. Okay. So see here, 1 to 10 you can able to print. Now you can able to print 1 to 10. Is it clear, Rakesh? Okay. So actually that range function will print up to 9 only. We have written an additional statement here, an additional statement here. If I value reaches maximum value 9, also print I plus 1. Okay, 10. Okay. So programmatically, whatever you want, you can do. That is the basic functionality of the corresponding range function. That's all. Okay. Right. Now let us discuss for with break. Right? For function with break. So what is the use of break? It will break the break statement, break keyword will break the loop. Now here I am taking one string. Okay, one list again. str1. So in that apple is there, banana, orange, kiwi, pineapple is there, right? So now here I am writing that. I want to print all apple, banana, orange, kiwi, pineapple. But when I print orange, I want to exit from the loop. So here I am writing for loop for I in str1. That means for every element in the given list. Okay, for every element in the given list, print the corresponding element. And if that element equals to orange, if orange is printed, after orange I don't want to print anything. Whatever the elements are there after orange, I want to skip it. Okay, if you want that particular functionality, then you can write here if I equal to orange, then break it. Then break. Break means it will completely come out from that particular loop, right? It will completely come out from that particular loop, right? So now let us execute this. Can you expect the output from this? So it will print apple first, okay? Then automatically incremented banana will be printed. Then automatically incremented orange will be printed. When orange is printed, this orange equals orange. This condition is satisfied. When this condition is satisfied, this break will be executed. When the break is executed, it will come out from the loop, right? So now run it. See, apple, banana, orange. After orange, it will come out from the loop. Why? Because we have written break statement there. Is it clear? Any doubts? Apple, banana, orange. Yes. Okay. Instead of this, I'll use, instead of break, I'll use continue. Can you guess the output? Now, can you guess the output? Instead of break, I'll use continue. If you'll skip banana, maybe. See, when the program is there, you should guess the output. Then only we can write programs clearly, like comfortably. It will print the list, correct? Pooja Paliwal. No, it won't skip orange. See, let us execute and see. See, apple, banana, orange, kiwi, pineapple. It is not skipping orange. Okay. So Manish told it will skip orange. Okay. For doing that, why it is not skipping orange? Because here we are printing before continue. After continue statement, no other. What continue statement will do? Whatever the statements are there after the continue, it will be skipped. Here we are not written any statement after continue, so it is not printing. No. In Python also it will skip. In Python also it will skip, but in Java also if you write this code, it won't skip orange. So if I write print here, for example, if I write print here, now you see the difference. Now it is skipping orange. Now in Python also it is skipping orange, like Java, right? Because in previous case, generally continue, if you write continue statement, the statements which are written after continue will be skipped. But in previous case, we have not written any statement after continue. That's the reason there is no change in the output, right? If you write, instead of writing print statement here, if you write here, that means we are testing. After getting the element, we are testing whether it is orange or not. After testing, if we are doing printing, it will be skipped. Before testing, if you are doing printing, so after getting apple will be printed. Then after that, you are checking the condition. After printing, if you are checking condition, then no use, we can't do anything, right? So that's the reason. If you want to skip, you have to make this print statement here. Okay. So then the orange will be skipped. Okay. So that is what our continue. In for loop, we can use break or continue. Of course, this is break. Can you guess the output now? What will be the output? Can you guess what will be the output here in this scenario? What will be the answer for this particular program? If I write break here, what will be the answer? No, not apple, banana, orange. No, yes, it will print only apple, banana, because after getting the element, we are not doing printing here, we are testing. Okay, after getting a first case, first element is apple. Okay, this is not orange, so this condition won't be satisfied, that apple will be printed. Then again, the next element will come, banana will come into I. So then I is not equal to orange, banana is not equal to orange, so this condition won't be satisfied, then banana will be printed. Then orange will come, so orange is equal to orange, then it will be break. This print statement won't be executed. So now the answer will be apple and banana. Apple and banana. Okay. So for every concept, you have to spend minimum some 15 minutes. Then only you will get the correct this thing. That means while you are practicing, minimum 15 minutes to half an hour. So you try to change the code and guess the output. Then execute it. Verify that. Okay. Right. Now already we have discussed this continue, no? For continue. Okay. So for continue we have already discussed, right? So now, okay, now I'll comment this. I'll comment it out. Okay. So this continue is also over now. This continue is also over. I'll comment it out. Then nested for. Nested for. Nested for means if you are going to print, if you are going to use for loop in another for loop is called as nested. Okay, like yesterday, if you are going to use if statement in another if statement, then we'll call it as nested if. So similarly for loop also. So for that I'm taking here two strings, str1 and str2. In str1 I'm having English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social. In str2 I'm having class 1, class 2, class 3. Now here I want to print like class 1 English, class 2 Hindi, class 1 English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social. Class 2 English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social. Class 3 English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social. So what we have to do? Use the for loop. First for x in str2, right? So that means this for loop will repeat every element in the str2. That means first class 1 will come into x. Okay, then in that we are writing another. Okay, in class 1 we have again 5 subjects. You can make it as, okay, subjects, sub, and this as CLS. Okay, CLS. So for x in CLS, okay, for every class I want to print all the subjects. Y in sub, x in class. Okay, first class 1 will come into x. Then we are writing in that for loop one more for y in subjects. That means first English will come into y. Then we are printing 0 dash 1. What is 0? We are printing x. Class 1 English. Then automatically incremented. This for loop will be incremented, right? So y will be incremented. It will point Hindi. Then class 1 Hindi will be printed. Then class 1 Maths will be printed. Class 1 Science will be printed. Class 1 Social will be printed. After that, this for loop is over now. When this for loop is over, it will come here. X value will be incremented by 1. That means x is pointing class 2 now. When x is pointing class 2, again we are writing for every element in the sub. Again, it will start from English. So class 2 English, class 2 Hindi, class 2 Maths, class 2 Science, class 2 Social. After that, this will be completed. Then it will come here. Then now from class 2, it will go to class 3. So class 3, again it will start from English. So class 3 English, Hindi, Maths, Science, Social. Okay, right? So I'll say this and I'll execute. Can you get the output? Class 1 English, Hindi, Maths, Science, Social. Then class 2 English, Hindi, Science, Maths, Science, Social. Class 3 English, Hindi, Maths, Science, Social. Okay, class 1 English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social. Then class 2 English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social. Class 3 English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social. Okay. Okay, nested for loop again I need to repeat. Puja, okay. Right. So here two lists we are taking. One is subject list. In that we are mentioning the subjects, 5 subjects. Okay. Okay. Right. In class again class, another list I'm taking CLS. So in that I'm storing class 1, class 2, class 3. Okay. Right. So now what I'm doing here, I'm writing first for loop. That means for every element in class. That means for every class, I want to repeat. What I want to repeat the functionality, this functionality I want to repeat. For every class, this functionality I want to repeat the class. First, class 1, I want to repeat this functionality. What is this functionality? Again, here I am writing one more for loop to get the subject from corresponding subject list. Okay, that's the reason I'm writing for Y in subject. From the subject list, I will get the first subject. After getting the first subject, I'll print the class. 0 is class na, 0 is X. X is nothing but it will show the class na. Okay, class name I'm printing, giving dash, then I'm printing the subject name. Right? So after this, again this Y value is incremented. Y will point the next subject. Right? So then again class 1 and Hindi will be printed. Again after this, again Y value is incremented, then maths will come. Class 1 maths will be printed. After this, again the Y value is incremented to point science. So class 1 science will be printed. Then class 1 social will be printed. After printing class 1 social, there is no further element in the subject to increment Y. Okay, then that means this entire functionality is finished. When this entire functionality is finished, so this X value is incremented. Now X value will point class 2. Again it will come to this functionality. Okay, again Y will start Y for every Y, every element in the subject. That means again English will be printed, class 2 English will be printed. Again Y is incremented, Hindi will be printed. Again Y is incremented, maths will be printed. Okay, right. Okay, that will be repeated. After this, again it will come to class 3. Then class 3 again same functionality will be repeated. Okay, so Sayali is asking no need to add new line character in print statement to print. Okay, no, in Python it will take default print. Every print statement will take default new line. If you want manually, you can add also /n, same. By default it will take new line. Every print statement will take new line in Python. Okay, it is clear? Any doubt? Okay, this is about nested. If we write 1, that means how you want to print. First you want to print, for example, I want to print like this, class name, this arrow I will print, arrow I want to print. So then you can, how you want to print, which format you want to print, that format you have to write here. So see here, class 1 arrow will be printed. Or if you want to print only subject, you can print the subject. Okay. Can we give any number here? What now? Where you want to give number, Rakesh? Use print for printing new line. Yes. In Python, a print function always it will go to new line and print the string. Rakesh, what is your doubt? I can't get it. Can we give any number here, sir? 0 and 1 in place of 0 and 1, na? Because why we are giving 0 and 1 here, I am mentioning two variables. The first variable index is 0, second variable index is 1. So first I want to print class, then dash I want to print subject. So first if I want to print subject, then I want to print class. You can give like this. So first Y will be printed, then X will be printed. Now if you execute this, see here, first subject will be printed, then class. Okay, So how you want to print, which format you want to print, accordingly you have to mention the index, corresponding index. So now if I want to print class first, then subject next. So X is class na, X is in class, Y is subject. Okay, then okay, now here okay, now here in the for loop I don't want to write any functionality in the for loop. Sometimes you may need to skip just simply for time pass, for time delay. Sometimes we'll use the for loops for giving the time delays also, right? So if you want to give any time delay function, we can use the for loops, but in that case we won't write any functionality in the for loop. Just simply we'll put the count and we will leave it. Okay, so now here for I in range 5, that means it will start from 0, but I'm not printing, I'm not doing anything, right? So class 1 in print. Sir, I don't want to repeat class 1 in print. Okay, if you don't want to Mani sir, if you don't want to print class 1, what you have to do, you remove this. You just simply remove this. If you want to print only the subject, you can give only, can remove this also, even you can give 0 also. Okay, so then you can execute now. Of course it will give error. Okay, so now you can execute now. See here, no class will be printed. If you don't want to print any class, don't mention about X variable. Don't talk about X. Simply you can mention Y. Class 1 all subjects. So okay, that also you can do. I mean, what you have to do is, for that you can write print statement here, print X print X, print, I'll write some dash, string dash. Okay, then you can print this. So here class 1 I'm printing all the subjects, class 2 again I'm printing all the subjects, class 3 I'm printing all the subjects. That's all. How, which format you want to print, that is up to you. So here after printing, I mean after printing the subject, I want to add one more line, print, you can give here some, this time I will give stars, right? Now run it. Here after printing the subjects, it will add star. So that formatting and all, that is your wish. Okay, okay, this is fine. Right, now for this first statement I don't want to write anything, I don't want to write anything. Okay, I don't want to write anything. Okay, so if you don't write anything na, so it will throw an error. See here, unexpected EOF parsing while parsing. So that means we cannot leave for loop without a body, right? So that means if you want to write any, if you don't want to write any statement in the for loop, you just write pass. You just write pass. Pass means nothing. But we cannot leave. After putting colon, we cannot leave the for loop. If you leave the for loop, it will give the error. Interpreter will throw an error. Okay. So you have to inform that, you have to inform to interpreter that I don't want to declare any statements in this particular for loop. For that, you have to use the keyword called pass. So that means you just save it and run. nothing you will get it here. Now it is run, will get nothing. It is executed. For loop is executed, but you are not getting anything. Okay. So if you want to leave the for loop without any body, you just give the pass, right, and stop it. It is clear? For loop? Or any doubt? I think time is over. Now it is 5:05. I think it is the time for winding up the session. So if you have any doubts, you please ask. Okay. I think we can close the session. No doubts now? Why are show double? 1 minute. Let me see this question. Sir, you said in for loop we no need to know the range of how it will work. So automatically the range will be incremented. Range will be incremented. That is the specialty of the for loop. Okay. Format. What is the difference between dot format and comma format? It is dot format only, not comma format. It is dot format only, not comma format. If you give comma format, it will give the error. So that pass is if you want to leave the for loop without any body, you have to tell the interpreter that I'm not giving any body to this particular for loop. So for that you need to mention it as pass. But if you don't mention pass, it will throw error. Interpreter won't understand, so that you are not giving the body. It will understand that you have mistakenly forgot to give the body, right? So that's the reason you have to mention it as pass. So wherever you want to leave it as blank, there you have to mention it as pass. That's all. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Again, tomorrow we have 4 to 5, but still confirmation is not received. I want to clear Python shell. You close it Python shell. That's all. Again, it will run. Okay. So tomorrow again we have class at 4 to 5 only. Okay. So tomorrow we'll discuss functions. Yes, madam. Bhavana, madam. Any doubt? Okay. Please share the document. Which document? Okay. Okay, madam. Bhavana, madam. Okay, and one request is you please do the you see the program and try to develop your own program. So for every concept you have to practice minimum 3 to 5 problems like programs, then you will get that concept. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sorry for the delay.
No problem, sir.
Because I have taken 8 minutes more.
No problem, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, madam, I'll see the code. Please send the program.